Good evening, everyone. Today we're going to go over TQQQ, BMNR, and I'm also going to cover the S&P 500 index through the SPX just to give a little bit of coverage of what I think. And as I'm recording this video at 5:32 Central Time, I'm looking at the NASDAQ Futures, which happen to be open, and they're off about 189, 190 points. So I really would have expected a much drop with everything going on in the Middle East and all the news that came out over the weekend and all the possibility of what may happen that could go back to where we came from. With that being said, let's go and get started with TQQQ. To make things simple, I will refer to it as TQ in my recordings. As we see here, I'm looking at a, let's see what this looks like, a 1-year chart. These are all daily bars. And we are above the 21 EMA, way above. Also, I've marked off some lines that I'll be watching as the market opens this week. 51.95, 47.13, and 44.79. These are lower levels that I am looking for to either enter the market with a buy right or perhaps maybe just sell puts underneath it, depending on the strength and where the stochastics are at that time. Realistically, I'd like to see this over and go under the 80% line, get below the 20% and start to curl up, looking a little bit something like this. Now, that doesn't always work exactly like that. That's what I'd like to see. So those are the lines we're looking at: 51.95, 47.13, and 44.79. I had to go back to the daily because this move was so big. There's so many small chops in here just to get a little bit better idea, a little bit macro view, if you will. I'll go ahead and look at the weekly. Each of these bars is a week. So you can see for 3 weeks, market was very oversold, went to overbought in a matter of 1, 2, 3 weeks. Now we are above the 21 EMA here as well. And often reverting to the mean would mean that this stock should come back down, but we'll have to wait and see based on the news. Here, these lines are just the previous swing high, the swing low, and that's about all I put on here just to give you some guidance. I'm not using this chart to trade off. Here's the 130, and it's just straight up. If you can see, like you may see a gap here. There's a little resistance here. Going back, there's not much to play off of here. These lines are here. They slightly correspond with the ones I showed you on the 1-year chart, the daily chart, if you will. But what's important is look at this. Stochastics have been overbought for a long period of time, and I expect that at some point, this has got to curl down and come down, and the market's got to revert back lower. So with that being said, that's what I'm looking for. Let me go ahead and go over to BMNR. So a lot of people in our room that also like to trade this. I'm going to move to a 130. It's a little bit easier to tell. Now, the stochastics didn't roll over. Came lower. You can see that we went from a high of a little bit over 24, came down and closed at 22.96, it looks like, or 25.95, sorry. There's a little bit of support here at 22.48, 21.34, and 20.37. Again, here, I would expect and would like to see the stochastics come lower, get down into the 20 range, maybe even look something like this. And then once it starts to curl up is where I'd like to enter some more positions that may have been called away or maybe adding. I would like to add under the 20 if I get that opportunity, but we'll just have to wait and see how the charts present themselves. And I wanted to bring up SPX here. I'm going to go to a yearly chart, flip 6 months. And what I really want to show you is how and where. This was the previous high. I'm just going to put a line there. And we went right through it, went way above. And what we need to do is stay above this line, the 7,000-ish. This is kind of like a little area of resistance here. If it cracks below that, and again, I'm watching stochastics here as well, overbought, 99.14. There's no reason for me to believe that this can't go higher at some point, but I'd like to see a retracement, and maybe it'll come down to 7,000 and bounce higher. Maybe it goes down lower to 7,000, but there's some idea that it needs to close this gap down here at some point. So I'm going to go and mark those on this chart for future reference.
I'm just going to the bottom of that and just pick up another one and drop it there.
And at some point, I would expect this to close again. Like I said before, we could revert back to the mean here, which is the 21 period EMA. So these are the things I'm looking for. And so I'm going to go back to TQ, just do a quick review. And we're using a 1-year chart. So these are daily bars on a 1-year chart because it's labeled 1 year. Looking for this to curl lower. At that time, I'll be looking for places to enter, which could be around 51.95, 47.13 if we're lucky enough to get down there, 44.79. But we'll just have to wait and see how the market opens on Monday. If there's any stocks you'd like me to chart out this way for you in the future, leave it in the comments. And if you don't mind, subscribe and just leave me a comment if you liked the video, did not like the video, put a 0 or 1. Tell me what you have having for dinner. That helps the algorithms. This helps others find this video on YouTube. Thanks a lot.